with the Raging Head Master, the Vice Chairman of the Circle, and the officers of the Circle, and my dear brethren, I must state that I have been really taken by surprise. First of all, I did not know that I was to be the chairman. Secondly, I did not know that I was to give an address here. All that I knew was that I was to inaugurate a study circle here. I knew that I had to say a few words as in the process of inauguration of a study circle. So this is absolutely 200% extra-core what I am going to talk to you today. A study circle, when you say, is a means of a research into something. So there have to be three aspects. To my mind, three aspects come into the fore when you talk of a study circle: the why of it, the who of it, and the how of it. Why is what we take up initially. We all know that Masonic order is based very much on the practice of the ritual. And the ritual and the symbolism thereby derived from the ritual leads to a lot of questions in one's mind. And it is believed that the development of an individual from a good being to a better being into one who goes in quest of that most interesting of all human studies, the knowledge of oneself, is through the ritual working and the symbolisms that are ingrained in our ritual books. So this takes us to the very basic aspect of why the ritual. So that question is answered as to why the ritual. This is the way Masonry is different from the various service organizations, because we practice something and we give an opportunity to anyone who enters into our order to go into a question of what is happening, why is it happening, and what can be done further to that answers that he seeks in that. Just a mere repetition of a ritual, memorizing it, reciting it, month after month, candidate after candidate, never satisfies anyone who goes into the basic aspects of why he is a Mason. What has he gained from being a Mason? I'm sure all of us would agree that there's nothing material that we gain by becoming a Mason. In fact, we spend a lot of time, a lot of our energy, a lot of our substance into continuing as Masons. Materially, no one gains from being a Mason. But that is not what we seek as being a Mason. So we seek for something better when we are Masons. And that better, what we seek for to be a better person, comes from, first of all, memorizing the ritual, understanding the ritual, and I'm very, very fond of saying this, what is there between the lines in that small black book that we contain. When we memorize the rituals, each time a ritual is enacted and heard or practiced by us or done by us, a certain nuance comes to our mind, as our brother Epur very nicely presented. What was the simple meaning of two words which are meant to be just pillars? Can anyone understand why a pillar is named after a person? So there must be a hidden meaning to that pillar. There must be something more than just a name given to a pillar. And that he brought out beautifully, the quest that led to what is the hidden meaning behind a pillar and what it means to us. From then on we can take on and say what further can be explored by the meaning that is projected by the word, such and such a word, into our ritual. To learn that, it is necessary to delve into the mysteries of Freemasonry, to delve into the mysteries of the Hiramic legend, to dwell into the mysteries of what prompted the Hiramic legend, to delve into the mysteries of what the original writers thought that this lesson, this ritual should propagate, what it should mean to us. So the question of why a study circle is well answered, that those who are interested in learning more about Masonry than what is contained merely in that black book, are necessarily stimulated by a curiosity to do something more than memorizing the ritual. And to do that, it is necessary that we have to have various kinds of study materials, We have to have various sources of knowledge, various sources which will give us answers to our burning questions that go on in our mind, in our curiosity to gain more and more knowledge. What can be a better forum than a study circle? When one person seeks for knowledge, he has many sources. When many persons seek knowledge for the same kind of an answer, for the answers to the same question, many views come into being. When many views come into being, there is a lot of discussion generated. When discussion is generated, more knowledge emerges. So that answers my first question of why a study circle. So why a study circle can be answered only if there is a group of people, if there is a certain number of Masons who want to go beyond the 3 degrees of Freemasonry, who want to go beyond the confines of what is printed in that black book of ours. If they want to go beyond that and seek a further meaning of the necessity of being a Freemason, how to become a better Freemason, how that Freemasonry can help him become a better human being, so a kind of a research is necessary. And when a research body is formed, consisting of individuals who are like-minded, who are curious, who want to expand their knowledge, who want to further propagate that knowledge, then this existence of a study circle becomes necessary. That is why this study circle has been formed, I am sure, with a very basic idea of carrying their own questions into a form of a questionnaire that can be answered by many people, and further questions generated, further answers generated, and answers sought for questions which one cannot find an answer to. Then, how do we go about, who are the people who are qualified to become members of the study circle? Any Mason. Any Mason who thinks. Any Mason who asks a question. Unfortunately, in today's world, in today's lodges, we don't have people asking questions. An initiate, when he comes to the degree of passing, as our brother mentioned, he is asked a question. How many of the questions are answered by the candidate who comes to the master before the master puts a question to him? How many of them can answer those questions without being prompted with the deacons? Most people do not apply their mind. Most people do not know what an initiation ceremony has been meant for. Most people do not have the curiosity to find out from his seniors, or from when he is passed, when he is brought as a candidate for passing. Most people do not have the curiosity to say, ask the deacon or ask the senior, why was I hoodwinked? Why did you take off my right shoe? Why was my right heel slipshod? Why did you make my left breast bare? How many of our candidates ask? It's a pathetic situation that our candidates are not prompted by the proposers, who have to nurture them and tell them the necessity for asking for more. It is only the person who asks for more who gets the knowledge. So this kind of a situation, when it is arising, when it is existing, when he becomes a master mason, his whole interest in masonry dies. So a kind of a prompting is necessary in our lodges for the candidate as he passes from a degree to the next higher degree to seek for more. And it is absolutely essential. A study circle of this kind consists not only of the past masters, but of more and more number of master masons who will gain from the knowledge that you past masters are possessing, or willing to share, or willing to expand, or willing to propagate. So the basic membership of the study circle must consist of many associate members. I'll call them associate members. To become a full member, one, as is happening in many other study circles of which I'm aware, one must present a paper, one must have done some original research, come into the study circle meeting, present a paper, then we must have a certain limited number of regular members, full members, and a large number of associate members. My brother lamented that such information does not go to the lodges, does not go to the average mason. This can be done through the study circle by bringing out a publication like this, which must be available to anyone who is willing to become a member, who is willing to become an associate member. So enlarge your study circle by taking in as many as possible number of associate members. Do not have a strict injunction or strict condition for becoming a member. Let the conditions for becoming a member be very light. Let the subscription be very minimal, so that more and more Masons, the Master Masons, would like to become members of this study circle. That is how you generate interest in the message of Freemasonry. It is not enough if they memorize the ritual and recite it, or enact a drama, or do the floor working, or act as a deacon, or give a charge, is not at all enough. His interest must be generated in such a way that he comes to the study circle forum, your forum, listens to a paper being presented there, ask questions. Be frank that if you do not know the answer to a question, you will find an answer to give. Those of us who are teachers know how difficult it is to answer a student's questions. It is not always a teacher can answer a question put to him by a student. It is not always a presenter of a paper, a researcher can always answer all the questions put to him by a seeking mind, by a questioning mind. This is how knowledge is propagated. So make sure that you bring in as many as possible your young Master Masons. Don't allow them to remain dormant for a few years. They will never get any interest in it. As soon as they finish their Master Masonship, catch them early, catch them young. Bring them to this study circle. Listen to them, make them listen to these papers. So the papers presented here must be not highly esoteric, must be of practical value to the Master in the initial years. As your membership grows and grows, then you can go into the more esotery of Freemasonry, the mystical knowledge of Freemasonry, the mysteries of Freemasonry, and what it purports to tell you in the years to come in your development, in your quest of seeking that knowledge of yourself. This is my message to you, brethren, and I'm sure this study circle will grow from strength to strength. We have had a very good auspicious beginning today, and my best wishes to all the people who have taken pains to organize this, who have brought it into being today, made it grow from a very small circle that we see today into a mighty tree which will be of benefit to Masonry in this part of the world, in particular, and to Masonry throughout the country in general. Please make sure that you have the transactions of other study circles also brought to your members. Be in communication with other study circles. Develop a library. It's very essential that you develop a library. Appoint a librarian. Make sure that you have adequate amount of CDs. There are no more books which are essential now. More and more of electronic means of communication have become necessary. So bring all the CDs which will be available to the members who seek to gain knowledge. This is my message to you. I congratulate you on developing this study circle and making it a reality today. Thank you, brother.